What's up, everybody? Draftkings, good back here, guy 231 across the DFS industry, and we are at our final Saturday EPL main slate until the World Cup break. So, real quick, I teased out that gonna have a World Cup update. So here is the deal. It will be on the site by the time this video is live, but we are doing a full month World Cup subscription run by Tindrell Storm and I. If you don't know who Tindrell Storm is, just look at the top of the leaderboard and you'll see him all over the place. But $40, that's going to cover every single slate, every single showdown, classic slate on Draftkings, no FanDuel, just Draftkings. Obviously, you can use this stuff on FanDuel, and that will go through the end of the World Cup. That deal will only be available until the end of the first games, and then it will just shift to weekly. Weekly is $15 a week. And that still covers the same type of thing. But those will be your two options. If you already have an FSI subscription, you're covered. You know, whenever your membership ad runs out, then you just go from there. But that's the World Cup special. So hope to see you guys then. All right, no more sales, no more anything. Let's just get to it. We got 5 games. Quick reminder, like, subscribe, comment to the video. Let's get to it. Southampton going to Liverpool. Liverpool, biggest favorite on the site, minus 400. Excuse me, sorry. Despite Trent Alexander-Arnold's struggles, I don't really see a way around him, sub 7K. Like, I think he and Andrew Robertson's, you just kind of like lock and load into cash, and Southampton is still going to concede a ton of possession. Liverpool, when they struggle to score, is going to whip balls into the box. I mean, that's like the MO. You know, especially with Nunez in the lineup. You know, I'll talk about him in a minute, but he's playing fairly well, and he's a fairly good target man. So, yeah, I don't really see a way around them. I can be persuaded for the first time probably in like 2 years to maybe not play one, especially in this type of slate because there is such depth. But the next biggest favorite is Tottenham at minus 150. It's really hard not to just lock in two massive floors with not only set shares but open play value with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. And what we do know from years of Liverpool is that they do struggle to score, the floors of those fullbacks are just going to rise higher, and higher. It's at Anfield. Southampton's weak. Southampton fired Hasenhüttl. I think the players really did like Hasenhüttl. You know, you kind of like the bounce back game to be at home, where it can kind of, or the first game bounce. I don't know why I say bounce back. First game bounce game to be at home, where the crowd can kind of ignite them. I think this is a letdown spot for Southampton going into the break. So I think Liverpool could throttle them here, to be honest with you. So going into that, I do like Salah and Nunez a lot. I don't really need to go into Salah. He should be really highly owned. I think Liverpool stacks in GPP are going to be very, very popular, especially in Salah is going to be the one that you kind of run to on PKs. So, you know, probably the highest score. I don't look at goal odds, but I'm assuming he has the highest goal odds on the slate. I do think Nunez is worth the discount at 8,800. His floor has actually been really good with shots, fouls drawn, things like that, key passes. He's actually a really good deal at 8,800. I know there's a lot of people that are disappointed. Liverpool paid a ton of money. They've stunk since they got him. That being said, we're just after DFS production. His DFS production is legit. So, like Nunez a lot. Bobby Firmino could be he's playing kind of in the hole. So Nunez and Salah are playing strikers. And then Firmino's playing more of like number 10 role. Just got snubbed for the World Cup. I can see a big Bobby game. I think that's a great GPP look. Nobody will be on it. So I like that. I'm sorry for all the coughing. I had to drink some water before getting on, and it is just stuck. So I'm going to keep coughing for a while. Not sick, but we'll see. Southampton, nobody. Don't want James Ward-Prowse. I'm not interested in anybody there. So let's move on. Leeds versus Tottenham. Tottenham minus 154 at home. I think Ivan Perisic is only like 7K. It's a lock and load. Over a majority of set pieces. The one thing to watch out is if Kulusevski is back, he took someone he got on, so that could be a split. If he's on, he's a little expensive. He is forward eligible. I don't think he's fit for 90, so I won't be on him. But I do think it bumps Perisic down. Perisic, if he's only going to have like half the sets, I think you easily put like TAA or Robertson over him. It's a lot harder when he's on Monopoly. I probably have him in line with them, and I want all three. But he's very fadeable at that point if Kulusevski's in. I think Harry Kane's going to be one of the bigger decisions on the slate. He is becoming more and more goal dependent in the system by Conte. That being said, Leeds defensively is an absolute disaster. It's back to, March kind of had them fixed for a little bit, I mean, they're just letting in goals like crazy. So it's really hard to fade Kane here. Um, It's actually kind of almost more fun of more fun GPP slate than it is cash, just because there are so many options and so many guys that I like to score goals, but their floors aren't like worth the price. But I really like Kane. I think a lot of people are really gonna like Kane. It would be really interesting to see how many people go Kane and like Salah, and like their optimal or their main lineups, and forego like a Perisic or forego a Liverpool fullback, forego a Madison type of things just to fit, the goal scorers in. And that could work. I mean, if Kane shows up with 2 goals, if he scores up 25 or 30 points, or Salah does, I mean, they're gonna lap, the floor guys. So really like those two. The rest of Tottenham, I really think you can pass on this slate. Like, Tottenham floor-wise is not great. And Leeds can get possession. So this could be a game that Conte does, as much as Spurs fans hate this, still plays on the counter. He's been playing a really low line too, so that really pushes the field back when you play a low line. Why does he play a low line? Because of guys like Dyer, deciding to pass the ball to Salah last week, and just not a lot of pace back there. So I'm not too interested in many Spurs pieces outside of Perisic and Kane. And then obviously, like I said, if you do see Kulusevski in, who I love as a player, I just don't love that his fitness probably isn't there yet to play 90, which is why I can't really play him in DFS. I think he does enough to hurt Perisic from being a lock. For the lead side, their sets have been a mess. Aronson's been the most consistent guy on it. We've seen Roca on some. The guy I want you to watch out for is Sam Greenwood. When he's been on the pitch, he's 4,400. He's forward eligible, so he could really open up the slate. But when he's been on the pitch, he takes sets. Last week he had a goal and assist on top of taking some corners. I would assume, based on how well he played that game, he probably earned himself a spot start. It seems more and more that Jack Harrison's out of favor. So watch out for Sam Greenwood. That would be my favorite play for Leeds. Let's go to the next game, Everton at Bournemouth. Bournemouth is a slight dog at home, plus 180. Everton's plus 160. For Bournemouth, Tavernier's back on sets. I love Tavernier. He's a weird fit, but Marcus Tavernier, what did he score, like 40-something points last slate? I think it was like 2 goals and 2 assists, or a goal and 2 assists. I don't know. Every time I went down, it was a notification, and he did something else. So, really, really good player. He's playing like a wing back now, too, which kind of even helps his role even more, because now he's staying wide. He's forced wide to whip in crosses. So, you get even more open play value on top of just the sets. He does split with Lewis Cook. I think Lewis Cook is a really interesting cash type of value. Sorry, that was weird. It's weird player. Lewis Cook, 3,900. He is one of those guys that we always want to be careful of. He is a central midfielder that is dependent on sets for DFS points, but it's only 3,900. You can get 5 to 6 points, and you can spin us for studs. I think it makes sense. So he's probably one of my favorite values on the entire slate. For Everton, Demarai Gray's taking close to monopoly. He does lose some at times when Dwight McNeil is on. Any point, wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Gordon took some. I'm not super interested in Everton here. Everton's not playing a very conducive DFS style outside of Gray. If you wanted a YOLO GPP, a Dominic Calvert-Lewin goal or something like that, I think it's fine. But otherwise, there's not much to see from Everton. And that's going to kind of go to the rest of this. So we're going to get through these other 2 games pretty quick. Palace at Forest. Forest at home is a lot different than Forest away. I think they are going to show up to have a game here. That being said, Palace does have some guys that we always like. I always like Zaha. Just always seems to kind of show up. He's going to get a lot of fouls drawn. He's going to get some shots off. Always going to have carry goal equity. Eze and Olise split sets. If either one of them are out, that obviously boosts the other one. It's just a weird fit, but I like them. Like, there's no locks from this game, but I like those 3 guys a lot. And then from Forest, I like Gibbs White, 7,200. I really want to play him. He's a set monopoly at forward. It just becomes Gibbs White 7,200, or the upside of like a Darwin Nunez 8,800, or am I going to get Sam Greenwood at 4,400 versus a Tottenham team that I'm not that scared to play against people? Is there going to be some other value that pops up? I don't know, but Gibbs White would be the guy I would want from Forest. Lodi, if he starts pretty decent as a wing back. Nico Williams has fallen off the cliff from a DFS perspective now that he doesn't have sets. I do think Brennan Johnson, if starting again, I think he's only 4,400. I'm a guy that tore up the championship last year, a very talented player. I think he's worth a look for a punt. Like, even if you played him in cash, would not call you crazy. Last game, Leeds at West Ham. I'm going to say this on West Ham. West Ham stink. They stink. And then they play on the counter, too. Moyes has them sit low and playing on the counter, whether they're away or at home. Just disappointed. West Ham used to be somewhat fun to have, like, some guys with, like, play a Bowen, play a Cresswell. They stink. But there's your two plays. Bowen and Cresswell, they've been splitting sets. I did not land on either one of them. I'm not trying to go out of my way. Leicester's starting to play better. Leicester has good players, so it was always so weird that they were struggling. But Leicester has really good players, so I'm not going out of my way to target West Ham guys here. For Leicester, I think James Maddison at 9,000 is incredibly interesting. Is it weird? Like, if he would have gotten snubbed for the World Cup, I think he would have been locked. Like, I think he would be putting up a huge game, but, he's just such an elite role. He's over all the sets. He kind of is able to just drift wherever he wants. Draws a lot of fouls. Shoots a lot. It's a great free kick taker. I mean, everything you want. So 9,000. I really want to just lock him in, but, as much as I'm sitting here going, West Ham stinks and all that stuff, it's just because I feel like West Ham has a better roster than they produce. So it's not like an elite matchup, especially away. But I definitely like Maddison 9,000. By far my favorite play in the game. Let's see if there's anybody else. James Justin can always show up. He's okay. Harvey Barnes, Tielemans, Vardy. They're all GPP plays. You're not targeting them for cash. So, all right. That'll do it. 5 games. Let's see. Prelim core. Let's go. I'm trying to think. I'm picturing like my lineup right now. Sometimes I plan out my prelim core, and sometimes you get to hear me just him and ha. Let's go TAA. You still believe him. Let's go. Sorry, I'm just blanking. Just give me a second here. As I'm talked it out, I don't like my prelim builds nearly as much. But let's just do it just so it's in there. If it's starting Sam Greenwood, 4,400, I love. And then let's go Ivan Perisic, assuming that Kuleveski's off the bench. That's who we're going to go around. That should give you a lot of freedom within your builds to go a lot of ways. Decide if you want like a Robertson, a Kane, a Nunez, a Salah. That kind of decides your build from there. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Again, make sure to check out link in the details for information if you want to join up for World Cup. We'd love to have you aboard. Yeah, that'll do it. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.